Hello everyone, welcome back to HeroesCCL. I'm your caster Tetcher, and currently in the bathroom, but here in but a moment will be Michael Udall. We're just waiting for him to return, and then he will be joining us on a Discord call to get this started. I appear to be dying, feels bad. But we have some exciting games for you coming up. I hope you are all ready for some HeroesCCL action, as presented by Roll20. Let's start off with the current table as it stands. For starters, as you see, we will be starting with Chili Mountain versus CrowdControl as our first game. The bottom team, but able to last week claim a victory. Able to win their first series of the league, and now we're in the last week. Maybe they can win a second. We will have to see. And then, of course, we have CrowdControl currently at the top of the board, equal ratios to Wild Hearts. Alrighty, I'm just going to quickly call Michael Udall. Excuse me. Get that up and running. And that sounds like we have an Udall on board.
It's me. Thank you so much for casting together, man. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, I'm super hyped to have you, dude. I'm very excited indeed. I'm literally right now just talking about the table and the two matchups we have today. So you want to jump into that with me?
Yeah, let's get on into it. I mean, we have two really good series. I'm going to be very biased versus during the second one, though, because I do want Oxygen to lose. So
yeah, you want to
has a chance for third spot.
Yeah, because that's the one that skips playoffs, right? That skips the ladder stage.
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty big deal, right? So going from 4th seed to 3rd seed means that you automatically skip that, because the way that the playoffs are set up is 8th plays 7th, the winner of that plays 6th, winner of that plays 5, winner of that plays 4. So basically, you get to dodge that whole playing the hot team that's coming through, the bottom bracket, and you get to basically have another week that you're not revealing strategies, which is a big deal in these playoffs, right? Because every team has their own meta, every team has their own draft priority, and being able to save that knowledge and hide that knowledge is like a really big advantage. So yeah, we're hoping Oxygen loses and then we beat Granite next week so that we can secure that 3rd seed.
There's a couple teams who have already said in interviews that they are in fact already hiding strategies, so that's where everything's going to get quite fun. As you said, heading into the playoffs going to be interesting. So the second series, you're definitely rooting for Simplicity to try and take out Oxygen, who since the removal of Medallion appear to have dropped a little bit further down on the board, which is little unfortunate for them, but they still have a chance as the last week of play to hold on to that 3rd seed. Simplicity, they're just looking to actually make it out of that bottom 5 to give themselves less matches to play. But the first match, a potential redemption story, Chili Mountain, who were unable to win a single series until last week, where they were finally able to beat out Granite Gaming, and they played the number 1 seed, CrowdControl, winners of the Icebreaker tournament, and also now currently in the top position.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a pretty decent series. I mean, I definitely think most teams going into it, or most people going into it, would expect CrowdControl to be the winners here, right? CrowdControl definitely been really, really strong, but I really think Chili Mountain has a chance here, right? We saw them upset Granite next week. I would, what a beautiful storyline it would be if Chili Mountain made the comeback, right? They beat CrowdControl here, potentially make a run through the bracket playoffs and really turn around their season. I mean, they had the worst start to CCL season ever, right? I mean, it is season 1, but ever, right? It's been the worst start, and they've been turning it around. Yeah, and it's like they made a couple roster changes. They brought G in, they brought a couple different players in, and it feels like it's working for them. And for me, I love a good redemption story, so I like seeing them succeed. And it's always fun to watch Turk's team lose as well.
That is true. Although I do like Turk. Turk seems to be a nice guy. So I'm biased towards everyone. There's no one I dislike in the CCL at the moment. So tomorrow's games are going to be your team will play against Granite Gaming and Wild Hearts against Sidestep Kings to see if Sidestep Kings have continued their scaling. But I'll ask you just quickly about the games tomorrow before we continue about today's games. How excited are you to play against Granite after their solid play 2 weeks ago? Bit rough last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it will depend on what drafts do they pull out, right? Are we going to see Butcher again? Are we going to see a lot of the weird drafts that they were running versus Chili Mountain? Or is it, like, I think looking at Granite Gaming, I think Nick really is like the make or break for that team. I feel like he's their carry player. If he's put on a hero like Kerrigan where he can really set up plays and he can, really take over the game, I think it's a really scary matchup. But I think if we're able to contain Nick, then I think we'll have a pretty good job going into that series. But I mean, I'm confident. I believe in my team. I really think we have a good chance to beat anyone. But it really just comes down to like drafts that day and kind of who's playing as well.
Absolutely. In the final series, Wild Hearts versus Sidestep Kings tomorrow as well. Sidestep Kings have slowly scaled. They were a team that everyone looked at when the draft actually happened, of just like, oh, look at all these world champions. Where do we put all these? The answer is at the bottom half of the table.
Yeah, I think Sidestep Kings has been really like punished as far as the scheduling goes. Like, I think it's been a pretty difficult schedule for them, right? Like you have a European player, you have North American player, and you also have Korean. So you have 3 different time zones that are, multiple hours apart, and it just makes practice time really difficult to actually schedule in and do. So, looking at the roster of Sidestep Kings, like on paper, it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, right? You have world champions, you have, some of the best players in North American like history. It's a really, really good team, but I think they kind of got really hurt there by the scheduling of having 3 different, regions. So I think Sidestep Kings is solid, but I think it's hard for them, the current format.
I think I am with you. Whereas Wild Hearts, they are hovering at the top of the table with some of the most chaotic drafting out of any of the teams so far until Butcher showed up, which was certainly a thing. But overall, they have been performing well. They're looking pretty solid to hold on to that position, but I suppose you're probably maybe rooting for Sidestep Kings as well, because there's a chance that 30k could try and sneak that 3rd spot, depending on what the match score on that is.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, so Sidestep Kings, they are right below us, right? So Sidestep Kings is not the team we necessarily want to win. As they potentially, if we lose to Granite, they could come up and sneak and take our 4th spot. So yeah, we're looking to hope if we beat Granite Gaming, then we don't have to stress about anything, and we just hope that Simplicity wins. But if we do end up losing to Granite, then we definitely want Sidestep Kings to lose as well, or at least have a poor match score. That way we don't lose that 4th seed.
Makes sense. Is it mathematically possible for Granite to overtake you? Yes, if they 3-0 you, they could overtake you. That is the only scenario that happens.
Whoa, Tetcher. We don't talk about that here. Hello?
I do predictive math. We're not in the cast yet. We can do predictive math. But that is a we have not had that many 3-0s that don't have Chili Mountain in them in CCL. So the odds of that are quite low. We do see a lot of competition between the teams when it comes to taking maps off each other in basically every series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm excited to get into this first series. I mean, let's talk about it. We've got Chili Mountain versus CrowdControl. So, I mean, Tetcher, going into this, like, is there a team that you favor? I mean, what are like your initial thoughts? I mean, what do these teams have to do to actually end up winning this game? Like,
I mean, overall, let's be honest, Chili Mountain have had a bit of a shocker up until last week, where they were playing where they did have a few problems. CrowdControl also had a bit of a rougher early start to the season, where we saw a lot of punishment onto Lauber, especially as Johanna was punished. But in this case, it didn't seem to be too much of an issue, where people were able to play around it well enough. It seems they have improved a lot more than... I mean, Chili Mountain's technically improved a lot more than like any other team, because they're winning games now. But CrowdControl are at the point where they're in a much better position to actually take the series and hold on to that #1 position.
Definitely. And I mean, for me, are you watching the live broadcast? It looks like
I am on the clean feed, so I don't have to mute the casters.
Yeah, I'm also on the clean feed. So it looks like we're getting into game #1 on Sky Temple here. And the map is going to be selected by CrowdControl, which is a bit interesting, as, this is a very macro-heavy map, something where like a Greymane, a Zeratul, Dino known for his Zeratul could be something that they potentially look at later on. I mean, Abathur, Medivh, Hogger, 3 pretty standard bans here. I will be curious about this last one for CrowdControl. Is it something like a Diablo, maybe a Stukov? I mean, are they afraid of Vikings?
Lots of good options there. Vikings is always a threat on this map. Same with that Abathur, which is why we've already seen it removed. Other heroes who rise in priority a lot here, Dahaka or other global heroes, just to try and keep that map pressure. For now, Sonya shall be removed, who has had, despite the talent she's playing with these days not actually being improved, Sonya has seen a massive rise in popularity, despite the big talent being Ruthlessness. But people just kind of are ignoring it and just playing her as aggressive as possible with full seismic slam build. So in this case, going to be banned because she is a terror in that top lane.
Yeah, and it looks like the response is going to be a Cassia and a D.Va to the Stukov first pick. I mean, Stukov, very high priority hero, really mitigates a lot of damage from auto attackers, right? So Stukov into Cassia is a pretty decent matchup, but I mean, Dino Cassia is something that we've seen all season long. Like this man on this hero is something that is a menace. The number of Q stacks he's going to have at the end of the game is almost guaranteed to be 100 plus. Like he just really good at landing those skill shots. And it looks like the Murd and Junkrat rebuttal. So it looks like a very elusive comp coming out for the side of Chili Mountain. I would expect to see like a Zeratul ban maybe by CrowdControl if they don't, take it well, because Gia does like that hero and it does fit pretty well with their comp.
Absolutely, that Junkrat control is going to be incredibly irritating. So let's see if we do get that ban on Zeratul from CrowdControl. Could be very scary. Like you say, we're of course looking at the new Chili Mountain with their Swedes now with 3 whole weeks of practice. Wow, as a full team, but they seriously have improved so much every time. As we don't see Zeratul, we do see Li Ming, which Cassia, if you could hold her still long enough, it could be a good setup punish. D.Va pilot mode is also very vulnerable to Li Ming, but it's still a just preference pick for Gia just to take that out of action.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty solid one. Maybe I'm over prioritizing Zeratul. I mean, Zeratul's not that good into Cassia or D.Va so far, right? So maybe they can just draft a pretty tanky composition, as it looks like it is going to be running down to the wire here. Probably is going to be tank, so it looks like ETC and Malfurion is going to be the pick. I mean, that's a lot of kill pressure, right? ETC slide into Malfru, ETC slide into Valk. A lot of kill pressure coming out for the side of CrowdControl here.
Really is. They have a huge amount of burst potential here and a lot of punishment for Junkrat. Here, of course, Concussion Mine will not save you from roots. So if you can get a good angle on that, that might be a good way to try and punish this hero, who's very hard to pin down normally. And the ETC, Stukov likes to be a little bit further up, so ETC can be a hero to punish that, as we do see Chili Mountain. Finishing up with Sylvanas, potential for either a hard push or a bit more of a burst style with the Overwhelming Affliction. And Yrel, just solid top lane control. It's never really a bad choice to pick Yrel because she is just such a safe hero and she gives a little bit of extra CC against ETC.
Yeah, I mean, the backline duo of Junkrat and Sylvanas, not the best damage combo because both of them are a bit slow. I mean, I think that they have a lot of macro pressure here though, but the Deathwing last pick, I love this for the Stride of CrowdControl. And with that Deathwing pick, I have to say that the draft is won by CrowdControl. I think it's going to be really hard for Chili Mountain to kill anything. Right, look at the side of CrowdControl. You have a D.Va, you have an ETC, you have a Deathwing. The main real kill target is that Malfurion, but generally Malf is going to be playing pretty far back, and they don't have that good of dive. I think the way that Chili Mountain can win this game, though, is if they have really clean rotations, because they do have stronger macro with the Sylvanas and the wave clear from the Junkrat. So that's going to be pretty important. It's just how well do they macro, how well do they clear waves. Well, what do you think, Tetcher? Who won the draft in your eyes?
Definitely leaning more towards CrowdControl here. That Deathwing is going to be incredibly hard to deal with. The actual percentage damage is limited to just Yrel. No one else on this team has percentage damage except for Sylvanas, but her percentage damage doesn't actually affect Deathwing because it is reliant on heroes being slowed, and Deathwing is immune to CrowdControl. But name pun insert here. But the ability to just try and burn through that Deathwing as a ranged assassin, so likely going to be played with the Infernus configuration build as well, is going to make it so hard for Chili Mountain to actually step onto points. Yes, Junkrat could punish the front line, but it doesn't matter if you can't actually get through the thing that's going to be controlling the objective, as we are going to be heading into the game.
Yeah, game number 1, Sky Temple selected by CrowdControl. On the right, in the red, it looks like we do have CrowdControl. Lauber playing the ETC, Ritsu on the D.Va, Dino playing Cassia, X-Ray on the Malfurion, and a Quaza playing that Deathwing. Sorry, man, it jumped on over. I missed the blue team.
Oh, no, I did the exact same thing, but we are good. On the left, It is going to be Chili Mountain in the blue. Very excited to see them play, as we will have Bergolt on that Muradin, Gia on the Junkrat, Chimera, aka Dark Chimera on that Stukov, as everyone else has pieced out to the top lane to make the job hard. But Darkmok is on that Yrel at least, and that means Maka is on the Sylph.
Yeah, and it looks like a little bit of pressure coming out to these top towers for the side of Chili Mountain. I like this. I like this early aggression, this early PvE split pressure. This is what they're going to need to do. They're going to need to pull crowd control around the map. They're going to need to look for these small skirmishes. So really good initial rotation coming out for the side of Chili Mountain.
We are seeing that overwhelming affliction coming in from Sylvanas. She is still going to go percentage damage, and there is still an argument to be made here for exactly this reason. Even if you can't hit Deathwing, you can still kill everyone else. That overwhelming affliction is so good for pick up kills on tanks. Being able to use that on D.Va or ATC doesn't matter if it doesn't work on Deathwing. If you're always a man up, you can put more effort into targeting that Deathwing down.
Yeah, I mean, really good job coming out by the Stukov with the follow-up. The Lauber special, averaging at least 1 death a minute, you know, with his first initial death there. Guys, I love Lauber. I think he's really good, for the record. I just like to meme players. But Siege Camp and Bruiser Camp are going to be takeout for both sides. It looks like Gia is looking to solo the Siege. So a pretty greedy rotation here from Chili Mountain, as they're doing both Merc camps at once. This is going to allow them to get ahead in rotation, as you see that Ritsu is just going to be starting up the night camp now. And this might allow Chili Mountain to get a lot of the top wall value with that Sylph ability to, you know, disable buildings.
They've claimed the vision, so they will know if the rotation from ETC will come up, which Lauber is making his way up, does go through the vision. Rest of the team going to grab that Bruiser Camp. Dartmok, he's hovering about. He can't scout this, so he would have to just run in. But camp is taken before he has a chance to step up or make any kind of aggressive, risky plays. We do see, like you said, that big push into top lane. But Dayquaza, not going with ranged build, by the way, going with melee build, is stepping up and playing aggressive, trying to punish the lack of Deathwing kill potential.
Yeah, Darkmok here taking a lot of damage on the Yrel, actually trying to cut out the good route. Coming out by X-Ray, and that's going to be a dead Yrel for 15 more seconds. And this is going to be a pretty scary counter push coming out for the side of crowd control. You know, I thought this initially favored Chili Mountain, but crowd control has turned it around, and they're going to be able to get the entire wall here and maybe more.
They're putting a little bit of focus onto ETC, who takes a chunk of damage, but is able to be healed up quickly by X-Ray, especially if he keeps landing these Moonfires like he is. No trouble at all there. And yeah, this counter push, despite not having a silver equivalent, they are wrecking this front wall.
Yeah, and a big thing to know, so if they back off and take the top tower, they're going to get a fort, right? So that's a big part of why people push with this top objective, is because if you get basically the front wall and then you get the entire temple, you kill a fort. And killing the fort has a lot of value, because then you start to get the passive XP as well as catapults and map pressure. So this first trade is definitely going to be going in favor of the side of Chili or crowd control, as they are going to be able to get the entire fort. And that's why we see Chili Mountain rotating up here. They don't want to give that for free.
Bit of counter aggression being attempted on Dayquaza. They do pop the second armor plate. Will Dayquaza take the sky? Looks like he will. Gonna heal himself back up in the meantime. We have D.Va and Junkrat split soaking, try to keep their teams ahead, and both are able to achieve level 7 at about the same time. Lost Souls for Sylv might build into armor reduction later, we will see. But otherwise, it's still a very solid amount of damage output. And we still see the Teeth builds, the Steel Trap build for Junkrat, just trying to control the objectives, try and catch people out. Deathwing can, of course, step through these and interrupt them, but if Junkrat places them correctly, might be able to skip that big dragon body, who is currently taking damage.
Yeah, Make going to be using his E to get on out there. During that first tempo phase, guys, I would have liked to see actually Chili Mountain push middle, right? So they were trading shots, and I would have liked to see them use their Sylvan Stukov to push middle and trade forts, right? Because they were going to lose top fort no matter what. And I think they actually ended up, or could have ended up trading. But it looks like they are just going to be rotating around here, maybe backing up to their siege camp, as it should be spawning soon, as we do see Make on the mini-map just starting up the siege. Both teams are going to be stalling out a bit here until they hit level 10. Would expect to see the next big team fight come around this bottom lane when the next objective is spawning.
Loba goes for a ride with Concussion Mine, as Dai now is trying to set this up, poking in with that Lightning Fury up to 10 stacks. Not a huge amount, but it's all helping, all increasing that damage output, and he's utilizing it to great effect to try and poke down these buildings to set up for bottom objective. As Deathwing will make the most of that global ability and will head up to top, which is interesting because we do see a lot of focus on D.Va double soaking on some maps, but in this case, she's staying nearer the team and letting Deathwing's global be the rotation. That is a good start onto X-Ray. He's able to back away thanks to the great turnaround by Lulba.
Yeah, really good jump stun from Bergholt, being able to get X-Ray, but they weren't able to actually get the kill there, as you know, they don't have that much follow-up stun or damage off of the Muradin stun. They have Stukov silence and Sylph damage. If Junkrat's not there to actually get a boop, though, it's kind of hard for them to get a kill, but they have a big minion wave here, and it looks like they may pressure this tower. Level 10 is achieved for crowd control, as we do see Bellowing War, Mosh Pit, Valkyrie, and micro missiles coming down. Malfurion is holding. Okay, does go Twilight Dream. I like this. The aggressive ult is going to be the choice. Val gonna miss here, coming out by Dino. Lauber just posturing here.
There's the mind control on the other side, potential reaction to that Valkyrie, the turnaround play, and of course a huge burst applying 3 stacks to that Bandage Curse means immediate percentage damage onto Lauber. Riptire lands, and he is finished off by the Junkrat. Great setup here. Kanaka's going to go for the turnaround to dive into the backline. Maka is dancing out of there with that Haunting Wave, leaving just Chimera, who does have that reactive Ballista Pulse, so will do a little bit of damage on the way out, but is getting focused so hard with Self-Destruct. That's going to be a kill.
1 hero dead on each team. Stukov dead for 15. ETC about to be back up, though. Make is really low. I'd expect Chili Mountain, as we do see, okay, Junkrat and Urel both rotating out. Chili Mountain recognizing, okay, we're down our healer. We're not actually going to be able to win this sustained fight. So this is going to be, you know, objective going the way of crowd control, as we do see Chili Mountain just backing off and soaking.
Gonna get as much experience as they can. Urel back to the top lane, like you said, just getting as much as she can, but D.Va clears lane so fast, it's hard to match. Finally, we'll see Junkrat being the one to rotate and try and contest that, try and keep that XP even. Lauber will be forced off the points for the final 5 shots. Of course, you step off the objective when there are 2 shots remaining, then you immediately have secured those 5 shots, so you always have that little bit of extra security. But in this case, a great aggressive play by Bergholt and Maka is able to force Lauber off, and the final shots are secured by Chili Mountain.
Yeah, in that last team fight, though, we saw what Chili Mountain was going for. The mind control one-shot. They're looking to kill Lauber a lot of this game. And, you know, if Lauber does have an over-aggressive slide and he gets stunned into mind control, he is going to die pretty much every single time. So that is just one thing to note. I feel like Chili Mountain kind of showed us their win condition there, and the way that they're looking to play team fights. They're not looking for a long, sustained 5v5 team fight. They're looking for a, you know, we get a quick pick with our mind control. We, disengage, get our cooldowns back up, and then we're going to go for it again. So I would just say watch Make as well as Bergholt, and just, you know, how they rotate together this game is really going to dictate if Chili Mountain is going to be able to secure that victory.
They're going to be setting up the siege camps, both matched in bottom lane, as the engage is just an easy kill. Rest in peace, Gia is absolutely destroyed on that Junkrat. What a rotation coming in by crowd control there. This is the amount of damage their team actually has as well, even without this Deathwing. But level 13 is still going to be hit by Chili Mountain. They're still going to have this and might be able to use it to try and defend bot lane, but they're not rotating at all. And with that Treant, that is going to tank enough shots that the bottom fort will be secured by crowd control.
Yeah, really good rotation from crowd control, recognizing with their kill, they're able to get it, but Make with the counter pressure onto mid 4. I like this. I mean, that's just free damage, right? He doesn't die there. He's not actually in threat. And this is what really it comes down to at the highest level, guys. What micro advantages can you get? Because things like that, that's a couple less tower shots next time you get an objective. Really good job coming out by Make today, really just pushing the limit.
We have that cold embrace now coming in for Sylvanas. This is basically their Deathwing kill condition now until Urel gets a minute amount of percentage damage. But getting that armor reduction is pretty much all they have now, which combined with Lost Souls, they're going to try and keep that cooldown as low as possible. If they can keep that armor off Deathwing, they're in a much better chance of killing him. If they can't, then Deathwing is going to walk all over them, especially in that melee form. So, Temples currently held by crowd control in bottom lane, Chili Mountain in top lane, and Deathwing not able to contest top lane because he is outnumbered. But this does show Chili Mountain maybe being unwilling to invade bot, but they're still going to step up and make a go of it as Bergholt rooted has to jump away. Good face melt onto Bergholt there as he's forced to retreat.
Yeah, really good job coming out by Lauber. They're actually stopping the jump from the Muradin. A mosh pit as well. Ooh. I like this. Just securing the kill. I mean, you're not going to get very many 5v5. Okay, they do use Twilight Dream as well as Valkyrie. Maybe a little bit of an overcommit. But with that kill, it looks like they are just going to rotate over to boss here. This is actually potentially a scary situation, as you see Junkrat does have the boop down, and they could potentially get on this point with Yrel, as it looks like Chili Mountain is going to be contesting. Boss going down to half, Yrel flanking towards the back, Lauber walking up from bottom temple, and it looks like Chili Mountain, are they going to give this up? I'd like to see them potentially contest. Boss falling really, really low, and it looks like with not having that Murden, they are just going to give it up.
With Deathwing on the board, the concussion mine, it could have maybe set them up. There was no way they could have actually got Deathwing off the point. They would have had less than 2 seconds to kill that Deathwing before that setup. They decide to let that go, let that boss push in the bottom lane. Final temple shots are secured, also pushing it to bot lane as CrowdControl. They're going to try and capitalize. Once again, sending Deathwing a little bit further up, keep that XP soak going, try and get them towards 20. But if they can find a kill here, Deathwing can very quickly rotate, and he's already waddling in with that big old dragon body.
Yeah, level 16 to level 15. CrowdControl does have the talent tier advantage here. Dayquaza looking for the Cataclysm in potentially, as the Valkyrie is going to hit the Muradin. Mind control into Dino, though. He's booped in as well. Really big bellowing fear coming out by Dayquaza. Dino falling low, and Darkmock's going to be able to finish him off. That's the Cassia dead. That's the big damage dealer for the side of CrowdControl. Are they going to be able to look for more here on Chili Mountain? No. But really good job coming out the Wombo combo. I mean, they got the mind control into the Junkrat boop, and they are able to get that kill onto the Cassia. But what else can they get off this, as it looks like they are going towards bot fort?
Like you say, a beautiful setup there by Darkmock, going in for that kill, setting it up fantastically and keeping the pressure on CrowdControl, acting like they would chase. So if CrowdControl re-engaged, they could have chased and kept fighting. If CrowdControl retreats, that's a free boss clear for Chili Mountain. Now they're using Marker to great effect, easy wave clear, why not? And they have possession, so they can get a little bit of a counter push going for themselves.
Yeah, I like that. And it looks like, I mean, the game is pretty much evened up here, right? Like, CrowdControl does have a bit of a structural advantage, but it really is going to come down to a 16-16 team fight here. Which team is going to win this 5v5 team fight is really going to be in the driver's seat for the game moving forward. So it really does come down to this. And Chili Mountain is going to have Merc clear advantage, as they will have top Knights as well as bottom Siege Giants.
Going to be setting that pressure onto the map. They can clear out those top Bruiser as well. Darkmock staying up here for a little bit more. They've got a lot of catapults to deal with too, but that's not so bad for them. They still have the potential for the clear. Deathwing going to be the one stepping onto the point. Everyone from Chili Mountain is coming down, including Darkmock. Going to make this a 5v5 even talents. And this is the play from Chili Mountain. Try and make the play before level 20. So they can try and get the advantage. Mind control onto D.Va with very reaction, but the Marsh Pit is big! Self-destruct to try and turn it around, but that is a huge deletion on Stukov.
Wow, Lauber with the 3-man mosh, and it looks like Make trying to escape here is going to be able to get out, but that's 3 heroes dead, and CrowdControl instantly running at the bottom keep. Are they potentially going for the GG here? It looks like they might be posturing for it. Lauber walking in. This looks like CrowdControl thinks they can win it. They think they've got the game here. A good 2-person stun coming out by Berghold. Make looking to throw some damage out. Lauber barely going to miss the power slide. Core is about to lose the shields. Berghold doing a good job zoning, hitting Dino. They don't have the best core damage here. Heroes are back up in 15 seconds, 10 seconds coming up soon. Core falling down to 90%. I think CrowdControl has got it here. Core falling to 70. Make looking to go in, looking to do all the damage he can. Berghold's going to get blown up. Core at 50% now. Stukov coming up just now. Junkrat and Yrel, but it's not going to be enough as Make falls. Dino just throwing damage into the core, and that is going to be it for game number 1, as CrowdControl takes, in my opinion, a pretty dominant win. I mean, they didn't really lose any team fights. They just had 1 or 2 picks here, but pretty much from start to finish, it felt like CM could never really fight them. A really good game coming out from CrowdControl there. Really
agreed. Chili Mountain's strategy was so much based around picks, and they were able to find a couple, but the issue with picks is you gotta group up on one person. In this case, the one time they don't hit Lauber with this engage and actually are able to hit Rutzau instead is the one time they get hardcore punished by this, with the immediate reaction of the 3-man mosh pit of Lauber shutting down the counter engage. That was beautifully executed by CrowdControl, very much punishing the positioning of Chili Mountain.
Yeah, really, really good game coming out by both teams. But, I mean, one thing to note, Chili Mountain, I feel like, I think they kind of got outdrafted. I think the backline of Junkrat Sylvanas is pretty difficult. But it felt like, I mean, they had a couple opportunities there where they made pretty solid plays going into game 2. I mean, I don't feel like there's a big discrepancy here, right? Like, I really feel like Chili Mountain has the opportunity and the chance here if they get a draft that provides themselves some more tools to win. I think that they really could end up, maybe taking a game. I'm not going to say they're going to take the series, but I could see them give us some pretty competitive games. And that's been one of my favorite parts about CCL is I feel like there is so much league parity. I don't know if you feel like that, but really going into any series, any weekend, I have an opinion on who I think will win. But a lot of times I feel like my opinion is proved wrong.
No, I really enjoy that as well. Like, there's a lot of times where I make the prediction, I'm usually okay at predicting, but like you say, there's always that wild factor. Like last week, I felt good about Chili Mountain with their new Swedish players, but I didn't expect the series to go anything the way it did, and it's always wonderful to see that. There's always that potential that something will change, that something will be different when you go into a series.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a really, really solid game number 1. Tetcher, how do you normally take breaks after games? How do you do it? Do you take breaks after like game 2?
Nope, personally not. Personally not, but if you need a break, you can absolutely have them.
Okay, I'll say I'll let you know when I have them. I just drink a lot of water, so I pee. I'm good for right now.
Same. I usually go after the best of 5, but if you pee, I will take the opportunity to as well.
Okay, I was gonna say normally like after like 2 games is normally when I my bladder's like, you know what, Michael, it's time.
No, that's fair. I know that was always the issue with back in HGC casting, where it's just like, all right, so we've got you on 3 best of 5s in a row. You have 3 minutes to urinate. Good luck. That was always the way. All right,
man, I am. You go. Yeah, I mean, so going into game number 2, what do you feel like CM needs to change up and fix here to give them a better chance moving forward?
They definitely... That was a solid draft by them. I wouldn't mind if they lent a little bit more into it. Like, the Junkrat's really good for map control, but I think it meant that their pick comp was a little bit too slow. And that's where they gave time for CrowdControl to react. I'd like to see them if they're planning on that strategy again to maybe lean a bit more into it. Otherwise, there may be a bit more map control. Dartmox did a fantastic job there, but maybe a little bit faster wave clear would have served them a little bit better there. Maybe a Dahaka in that case would have been good, but that would have still really struggled in the actual team fights.
Yeah, I think it would have given them more opportunities, though, potentially to be able to take 4v5s. It felt like the Deathwing really was a counter to their comp because you can't kill Deathwing, you can't kill Diva, so you have 3 kill targets, an ETC, a Malfurion, and a Cassia, right? Malfurion's almost never going to be in range, so it really is like ETC and Cassia are your 2 kill targets while they have so much peel. It just felt like a rough composition to go into. I mean, Mephisto is a hero that I know Make is known for, so that's something we could see on potentially an Infernal Shrines, maybe something like a Volskaya. I feel like that's a hero that he is really good at. Also, Gia, we've seen him play a lot of Zeratul in the last series, and that's a hero he's known for. So, I mean, those are 2 heroes that I personally would love to see them maybe whip out. Like, put your DPS players on heroes that they are really comfortable on and that they can make plays on, because I generally feel like that is what gives teams the best chance to win.
I'm with you. I am with you. When you if we look at another example, heroes like Nick and Ultralisk, who have lent during the latter of the Medallion era very heavily on the Tychus, but the set every time they were on that Tychus, it was just incredible, and it was a stump. So having that lean of something that you're so comfortable with is always so friendly. It's like watching Hasu on a Junkrat, or even on a Falstad. Even though Falstad's not too meta these days, watching Hasu on Falstad is always great, because you know he's so comfortable on it.
Yeah, I mean, Hasselhoff's such a good player. I love Hasselhoff. He honestly, he's someone that I really respect and really. So I interviewed a lot of players before, the draft, and I had like an hour-and-a-half conversation with Hasu, and it was one of like my first times having like a one-on-one serious conversation, and I walked away from it feeling like a much better Heroes of the Storm player, and just like I feel like I had a much better grasp on the way that video games work. And just talking to Hasu for a little bit taught me so much. And it's been really cool to have him be a part of the team, because he's someone that, I mean, growing up, I watched him play StarCraft, right? Like, I watched him play Warcraft 3. And it's a little bit surreal. I'm kind of going on a rant, but it's a little bit surreal to have him play for my org, just because, like, growing up, like, he was someone that I, like, definitely looked up to.
No, I completely dig you. I completely dig it with you there. There's 100%, like, there's only a couple players like that who can truly claim to be world class in 3 different games. And obviously, Hasu was one of them. Others might be, I'd say, Lucifer and Vortex, and there's maybe Pult. But overall, that level of skill is so rare, and it's great to have him, great to listen to him anytime he has something to say about Heroes. So we do see the Rex are banned out, and no surprise, Chromie making it through the draft. Chromie is currently one of the most picked and banned heroes, being banned in 68% of all games, and appearing either picks or bans in 87% of games. The only hero close to that is Medivh.
Yeah, I mean, Medivh hero that pretty much is constantly permabanned. Chromie is pretty solid on this map, but it looks like CrowdControl. I mean, they took us to this map, right? So generally what that says to me is they planned this. They knew that they were going to give up Chromie, and they instantly locked the Murd and Monk. It looks like they're going to go for a heavy rotation composition, and with a one-shot with 7-sided. I like the Chromie. It's a really strong hero, and I like the Johanna Brightwing follow-up. Johanna, a tank that, is really one of the best, if not the best tank into a blow-up composition because of that iron skin, as well as potentially being able to get Falling Sword at level 10. I like this response from Chili Mountain, also securing a global, and Brightwing, a hero that has a lot of, big burst heal with that Z.
It's always fantastic for them. Currently, they have yet to win with Brightwing, but again, times have changed for Chili Mountain, so this might be their chance, as we do see Sonya getting removed once again, new and improved, and very, very stabby. So it's just going to be got rid of, taking that out of the equation. It would have actually worked quite well in CrowdControl's roster as well, for what is right now looking to be a very aggressive composition. Sonya would have fit into that very nicely.
Yeah, I would expect them to go maybe something like a D.Va, maybe something like a Urel, as it is Chili Mountain's ban, and maybe expect them to get like a Leeming or Greymane. Okay, Kerrigan. I like this. I like a Kerrigan ban. I mean, if they got the Kerrigan on the side of CrowdControl, I don't know if they have a Kerrigan player. Does Dino play Crowd?
Yes, it is Dino now. They played it once and lost once, but the fact that it's there is still pretty terrifying.
Yes. And I think it's a good ban, right? Like Kerrigan with this really aggressive composition would be a very scary hero. So I do like them taking that away. And it looks like CrowdControl, I mean, they need some sort of burst damage, as well as, they do go for the offlaner. So Falstad is going to be the pick. Ooh. I like this. So they secure a global. So what they're going to end up having, it's most likely going to be Falstad sitting bottom. Murden and Karazim are going to be roaming around a lot. And then they're going to get like a Greymane or a Sylvanas or a Leeming to pair up with that. And then they're going to go for, once they hit level 10, they're going to go for a 7-sided one-shot, and they're going to gust the team away. Like, that's what their comp screams to me so far. Yeah, the classic.
And I do love that. The only thing they have to be concerned about is the fact that Falstad is made of paper. And as such, that Karazim is not going to be able to heal huge burst damage. That Tychus does fit into that quite well. They now have a lot of poke. And each one of those little poke abilities, the Dragon Breath, the Sandblast, the Grenade, is going to put Falstad in that danger range, which potentially, you already mentioned, a Falling Sword could be an option, could put him in serious trouble. Dynav's going to have to really be concerned about positioning here, because they have a Wombo, but currently this composition does have a targeted weak point. Oh my.
Zagara?
Welcome back, Zagara.
What?
This is the 3rd time she's been played in CCL now, but it's still super rare to see. That push potential is going to make someone's job really hard. That's some great counter poke. They currently have a 100% win rate on Zagara, having already played her before, but wow, that is quite the surprise.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a pleb. Maybe I just don't see it, but I don't think the Zagara, like, you start your comp off with a Murden Karazim, right? That screams to me aggression and that you're going to go for a one-shot. Zagara, I mean, I haven't played that much new Zagara. I know people run Roach build, and the Roach is supposed to be pretty strong, but Zagara is not a very fast hero, right? The way that she wants to play team fights is slow, and I feel like they're going to lose sustained team fights with a Karazim hero healer into a Brightwing, Chromie, Tychus composition with the Johanna D.Va frontline, right? It feels like Zagara is playing to their weakness, and I would have loved to see them pick maybe a little bit more of an aggressive hero, but we're going to be getting into it, guys. Game number 2. On the left, in the blue, we have Chili Mountain, Make playing the Tychus, Chimera on the Brightwing, Gia playing the Chromie, Berghold on the Johanna, and Darkmok is going to be playing the D.Va.
On the right, it is CrowdControl, Dequaza on Urel, Rutzau on that Zagara, which appears to be all our observers are interested in. Falstad is going to be played by Dynow. We have X-Ray on the support, and Lauber will be playing that Muradin. Sorry, X-Ray is on the Karazi. And yes, it is Roaches, like you said, very much leaning into that. This is due to the percentage damage that you get later on. Gives you a huge amount of frontline aggression and gives you a very high amount of push potential. They played this once, as I already mentioned. It was against Wildheart Esports on Volskaya Foundry. They ran a slower composition with Malthael, Stukov, Cassia, and Johanna, where they played a more effective 4-man. In this case, they're running a 3-man with Falstad and Zagara joining with the 4-man.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams are just going to be 4-person rotating. Ritsu able to get a lot of damage onto the wave there, just throwing Banelings to clear it up. And during all of this, Falstad, look at them. They're really pressuring Berghold here, not letting him rotate. Make stepping up, throwing a nade at Dino, and it looks like he is going to be cutting up here. Dino actually rolling in, throwing damage onto Dark Chimera. CrowdControl doing a really good job at bullying off this tri-camp, as we do see Make and Berghold rotating to mid lane to clear.
I'm going to clear that up as quick as possible. Lauber hovering around the rotation. He's already beginning to heal back up any damage he has taken. Rutzau is having more than a few issues placing creep due to the fact that he's against a Chromie, a Brightwing, and a Tychus grenade build. So he's having a couple issues trying to set up any kind of vision or control over this objective. Looks like he's just saving them and just checking the bush nearest to him to make sure he's not ganked from below, as mercenaries are started by Chelly Mountain.
Wait, whoa. Monk has been doing the bot knights.
Wait, how long's he been there?
Look at his HP. So it looks like CrowdControl is doing bot knights first. I mean, they do have a Zagara here for the pressure, so they might be able to get a lot of value. I mean, CM has no idea about this. I mean, this is a very unorthodox rotation, right? Generally, bot knights first is not something you expect. And now Chili Mountain, they're actually a bit over-aggressive here, as Dark Chimera is in a bit of a scary situation. Looking to see out onto Gia is going to be okay, but the bot knights are now going to be pressuring for the side of CrowdControl, and this gives them DK pressure. Berghold looking to stall out the Falstad, getting the cap, but Tychus was doing the knights during all of this, so DK pressure is still going to be going in favor of CrowdControl.
They're still holding for now. Now X-Ray going to be starting the siege camp. A much easier camp for Karasim to do. That is a rough position for Bergholt to be in. He's going to be body blocked completely by Dynow. Great rotation from Lauber, but they did lose double cap during all of this. Now it is available for Chili Mountain, so they got to keep someone here. Except they're going to leave Lauber. As we see the Falstad rotating up to top to help out against that D.Va. Might not be needed though, because D.Va not contesting, just dealing with that bruiser camp push.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams, I mean, just taking out mercenary camps, rotating around. I would say that CrowdControl, with the sneaky bruisers, were able to get a kill, not able to translate it to a DK. So we see XP is pretty much even here. And it looks like the Zagara is really being used to just hold bot lane. Though it may not go best with their team fighting, they drafted it for a purpose. And that purpose is that they want Zagara to just stop the push in bottom. And Ritsu's doing a really good job at that.
Darmok rotating, gets caught on the rotation, but they don't land a Storm Bolt or any kind of CC. Finally going to stun him out. Brightwing comes in with that level 1 bonus to the teleport heal. Huge sustain, and the turnaround is so easy for Chili Mountain. They're going to try and rush it down, but a good stun. Unbelievable they got away there. Never mind. Grenade value, quarterback value.
Wow. Make barely able to get... I thought Dequaza was out for a second there with 40 HP. But no, Tychus, ruining the fun that Dequaza was having. And it looks like Make actually is going to be a bit scared, rotating to the bot side. Just going to be looking to chunk Lauber out, using that bigger they are, which it looks like the 4 he chose. So looking for more burst damage. Lauber looking for Make here, potentially X-Ray. Going to go trade some damage during all of this. But Brightwing and D.Va are getting a decent amount of top value. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a tower or maybe even half a tower on the top lane, as Urel was not there to defend, and Dino on the bot lane actually taking a lot of damage to G. He's gonna die, and that's gonna be pretty big, as this should maybe potentially enable Chili Mountain to go for the DK. Okay, no, Urel doing a good job in getting onto top.
Everyone interrupting the rotations for the moment. Temporal Loop has been the heroic choice by Gia. No cleanse until level 16, so they're going to try and get X-Ray here. But X-Ray, Lauber positions beautifully to give him that escape route and gets him out of danger. Yeah, I mean, the Temporal Loop is pretty good here. I mean, if they ever get it on a Falstad or a Zagara, it is going to be a potential kill.
CrowdControl is going to be taking out their Bruiser camp here, which will pressure into the top lane. D.Va does have mech, so she will be able to use that. X-Ray is going to be really low as well, so they are going to need the Monk to basically 4 reset off that. I'd expect to see CrowdControl look for maybe DK pressure off this, maybe look to rotate bottom if possible. But we do see Dino rotating up towards top side, maybe looking to pressure Darkmok off with this Bruiser camp.
I'm not going to be forced back. Bruiser camp, like you said, going to be pushing in, going to set them up quite nicely, which is why reinforcements are on the way. Bergolt, one of the best wave clear tanks. Marker, looks like he might have wanted to come up, but he is being interrupted. The grenades are available, heals himself up. Bergolt, again, his rotation interrupted, so that top push is gaining value. This is good, consistent pressure by CrowdControl to try and punish Chili Mountain and prevent him from getting rotation. However, micro missiles and a Flyking Condemn completely shuts down the Falstad, because as we mentioned before, he is made of paper. Also, here's the beams. We talked about it earlier. Devouring more into Mighty Gust. More one person, Gust the rest.
Wait, did Gia just get a kill 2v1? Oh, is Gia going to be able to survive? Berkhold rotating over. Gia absolutely smurfing this game. 1v2 Zagara and Muradin, and he's able to actually secure a kill here. And Berkhold with the good Iron Skin going to be able to allow Make. No, they barely lose top pressure. They should be able to get it though. Okay, this should be potentially a DK going the way of Chili Mountain, but we do see Dino maybe actually going to be able to get a stall here. And Chili Mountain may actually be stalled out and not able to cap the DK here. Good job coming out by CrowdControl, juggling those points.
They delay that quite well. Gia begins to poke back in, already on fire, already doing a great amount of pressure. Temporal Loop going to be burned immediately as it's the 4-man rotation. Avatar is burned and it does nothing as he is deleted here. Top lane going to be contested though and will prevent the double cap.
Hey, Chili Mountain's winning this game, man. They are in the driving position as they're invading X-Ray. The good polymorph coming out. Berkhold gonna get 7-sided, but good heals coming out by Darkmok. It just really feels like Chili Mountain. I mean, maybe that's preemptive. We're only 7 minutes into the game, but it really feels like they're in the driver's seat. I think Cleansing Touch will be a pretty big addition for the side of CrowdControl, as they will be able to save off that temporal loop. But I like the temporal choice coming out by Gia, as it is just providing so much pressure for his team and allowing them to get these picks left and right.
That temporal loop is going to be such a big deal. Like you said, that cleansing touch will make the difference. And once they start grouping up, it might make a difference as well. They just start taking out forts for that to happen. South backs away. We'll take a polymorph with the unstable anomaly, so tiny 2% damage to him there. But he's already 2 stacks of that bile drop as well. If he can fully stack that, gains that extra roach, and that will seriously help him once he gets that percentage damage, and that will be his chance to try and turn this game around and start murdering that Muradin. Not that Muradin, sorry, that Johanna.
Oh, good polymorph coming out onto X-Ray. The Bless Shield as well as the Temporal Loop, 7-sided, but X-Ray is really low here. Falling, taking damage to the Tychus minigun, and he is going to fall. 2-person Maw, though. Ritsu, do they have damage off of this? The Brightwing and the Tychus? No, they don't. Are just going to be able to back out. Urel, as well as D.Va on the top point, are going to be fighting. Brightwing actually TPing up there, it appears, as it is going to be a 2v1 on the top side, and that means it is now a 3v3 on the bot side. Expect to see, okay, we do see Lauber re-engaging. Dino flying in pretty aggressively here. Gia with the good... Oh, a lot of damage coming out on Ritsu as well as Lauber, and that's going to be a dead Zagara. CrowdControl just losing heroes left and right here. D.Va looking to try and cap the DK, but Urel was able to get topside during all of this. Dayquaza doing such a good job juggling the points, really saving his team's booty this game.
Here comes the channel though, and this time they are zoned out way too hard, and the first Dragonite comes in at almost 9 minutes into the game. It's going to begin pushing into that bot lane. But right now, so much pressure onto the members of CrowdControl, and they do not have the tools to deal with this yet. So Dragonite will push in, it will begin to get some counter pressure. 7-sided will be burnt just to get a big race onto that, and that will help a lot.
Yeah, DK falling low, down to 40%. Berkhold actually doesn't have Iron Skin here, falling low. Brightwing is going to see in. Looks like they're going for Dayquaza, but their DK didn't get a thing. Literally, it didn't get like any fort damage. So even though Chili Mountain has been able to get these kills and secure these kills, CrowdControl is stalling out the game to level 16, which is their big power spike. They get the percent damage on the Roach, and they also get Cleansing Touch. Berkhold taking a lot of damage here, actually. Forced to use that Iron Skin, but going down to nearly 20%. And I think Chili Mountain is, pretty sad with how much value this DK gotten, but it's kind of hard into the side of crowd control. But it's like you really want to open up that fort and start to open up a win condition.
You really got to get something happening on the map, but that's seven-sided. Over 40% of the Dragon Knight's health in just a couple seconds. Just denied so much value. They now have Giant Killer as well for Dynow, so even more potential percentage damage, and Zagara will be able to get hers on at level 16. So their Dragon Knight killing potential is just ridiculous right now, and Chili Mountain, they need to find value elsewhere. Like you can see, they are getting mercenaries to try and get some counter pressure, but crowd control, they get them just as fast, utilizing Karazim to great effect.
Yeah, level 16 has been achieved for the side of Chili Mountain, and let's see what they can get off of it. Looks like they are pressuring bottom. Chimera on the top side, actually in a bit of a scary situation here. Is he gonna be able to get the blink kill? No! And that's a dead Brightwing, and that is a pretty big pick for the side of crowd control. This may allow them to pressure the top fort here.
Only their second kill of the game shows you exactly how Chili Mountain have been playing. They're 7-2 right now. But if crowd control can keep that up, and the fact that they're still holding relatively even during all of this, it is a big, big deal for them. Zagara brings out that percentage damage. Dartmock sieging in with the micro missiles, but they're getting a lot of protection from the spell armor of that Bruiser Cap as they push in, looking for Dartmock. Self-destruct is available. They try and stun him out, but he holds it. Very patient play here by Dartmock.
Yeah, Darkmock, I feel like he's been charged on that bomb for the last 10 minutes. As I haven't seen him use it yet. I mean, but he didn't really need to there, right? He's been able to hold off the top push, only losing the wall after like 2 or 3 bruiser camps. That's pretty decent, as Brightwing is going to be rotating top, looking to abuse that global Berg hold, looking for the wraparound. Make as well. Oh, risky. Chili Mountain.
They bring in Brightwing, Temporal Loop, Zagara rotating in from above. She does have the Devouring Maw to try and set that up. Yes, a 2-man Devouring Maw. Camp was captured. It was all pulled into this. Can they set up for the turnaround play? Dartmock is zoning everyone away as they try to dive onto Gia. Maka will be the only one to die in this fight unless they can get Bergold, which they can. He stays too long. Rest of the team was completely split by the chase down of Lauber and Dynow. Nicely executed by crowd control.
Yeah, I mean, Chimera doing a good job peeling and saving the Chromie's life, but unfortunately the 2-person Dequaza on the Urel looking for the flank here. Chili Mountain potentially needs to be careful here. Darkmock taking a lot of damage from the 7-sided, still has the explosion. Dequaza going to... Okay, they are going to stiffen out, but it looks like Chili Mountain is going to be able to defend this push a decent amount, as they only lose bot wall, but they are going to lose the DK here. And they have a Tychus and a Chromie as well. So they have pretty good defense into the Dragon, but their Tychus is still dead for another 5 seconds.
Karazim was thinking about porting to try and refresh his mana. Instead, he taps the fountain due to the fact that this push has already started. Dragon Knight going to be pushing in the mid lane to get the pressure on that way. Rest of the team in bot lane, except for Dynow, who's just trying to get that split value. They don't just want Forza, because again, you already mentioned it. The exact same issue is here, that there's so much percentage damage on the side for Chili Mountain. So instead, they split their pressure. They try and gain value somewhere because they can't focus all of their counter pressure onto the Dragon Knight because they will lose so much.
Oh. Okay, he's okay. Ooh, Ma.
Yeah,
Ma forced out. I mean, they lose 2 forts during all of that, though. Really good execution of their DK coming out for the side of crowd control. Doing a 1-3-1, putting their Fawcett in the top lane, 3 people in the bot lane. Oh, Berghold is going to get 7-sided here, taking a decent amount of damage. Lauber actually jumping in, is going to get Bless Shielded, as well as Time Looped, as the Murden is falling low, as well as X-Ray on the Monk, trying to kite Lauber in the backside. Make actually taking a lot of damage, is going to be able to finish off X-Ray, but nothing. Oh, Lauber is going to be able to escape. So 1 hero falling on the side of each team. Oh, unless they can get Ritsu here. Darkmock trying to chase him down. Berghold's on the way. No Bless Shield. Darkmock with the slow. Okay. And Ritsu is going to be able to escape. Man, these fights, everyone's just barely able to escape, Tetcher. My heart, it can barely take it.
They start as team fights and then split into like 5 1v1s, and we just see who survives each one. As we do see the camp is going to be secured, but they are very patient with it. Chili Mountain, seeing if they could bait in crowd control. Not going to happen here. But as you say, these have been very stressful between the 2 teams, both fighting tooth and nail. We've been seeing so many times that Maka has just spent all his time just running down Karazim, because get rid of the support, you get rid of the sustain.
Yeah, you also get rid of that cleansing touch. I mean, one thing to note, though, Chili Mountain was winning this early game. They had like a pretty strong lead, but they really were not able to get much off of it. CrowdControl, with their first DK, with their first real momentum in the game, were able to open up mid fort, top fort, and bot fort. 3 forts are down on the side of Chili Mountain, and that's going to be counter pressure coming in 3 lanes for the rest of the game. And that's, just like one thing to note, that even though Chili Mountain had the early game advantage, they weren't actually able to translate it into anything that's going to help them in the late game. They barely got the bottom fort to around like 60%, but they weren't actually able to finish it off. I'd really like to see them maybe just Odin up and just force the fight on the bot side.
So they might not be forced to fight on the bot side. They're rotating into mid, but Creep is finally getting spread onto the map, and HeroesCCL spots the rotation. It was a Radiating Faith Johanna trying to set up the trap. No value is gained. Instead, we see CrowdControl looking for Marco. They missed the rewind, though, on the Stormbolt. Marco goes for turnaround. Wind Tunnel completely isolates them. Oda going to be burned for that Unstoppable as Flash Shield comes out to buy them some time. Both teams stepping back, disengaging a bit, but the big red button's done a lot of damage here, kind of isolating Urel, but Dequaz is able to back away.
And it looks like CrowdControl is just going to disengage this fight. They used Avatar, they used Gust, they used 7-sided, a lot of ults used. But on the side of Chili Mountain, Odin is going to be down for 100 seconds. Loop will be back up soon. And we see Dino right back to the split push on the Falstad, looking to get a lot of value on the top side. And this is a pretty scary situation for the side of Chili Mountain. On the bot side, though, the Observer, Gia is going to be getting Gonhan. Urel forced to use the ult already. Gia, is he going to be able to survive? Yes, Brightwing able to get the heal off, but is it going to be enough? The 2-person Maw is going to be huge coming out for the side of Ritsu. This looks very scary for the side of Chili Mountain. If they lose a couple more heroes there, they could potentially lose the game. Dark Mach looking to kite out, looking to pressure. Dark Chimera, a lot of heals going out. Lauber, though, maybe a bit of an overextension. Blast Shield coming out, but the Wind Tunnel from Dino, saving Lauber's life and setting up the kill onto Make as well as Berghold. That's 3 heroes dead for the side of Chili Mountain, and this may potentially be the game as they CrowdControl will be able to secure the DK.
They dodge them more, but that DK is running straight for keeps and potentially straight for core. Chromie back in 29 seconds, but the Dragon Knight's already going to be pushing. Let's see what they can do with this. Right now, Chimera's trying to buy time. D.Va is doing as much damage to the Dragon Knight as possible. She knows that will be one of the big tanking points. If they can weaken it, they might be able to stop this push. But the rest of the team, CrowdControl, ignoring it completely, running straight for core. They will have Gust back in 15 seconds, so they will have a huge bit of extra time to race down this core. Dartbox done everything he can. Chromie is back, but the odds are looking pretty dire as CrowdControl are going to claim game number 2.
Man, I mean, Chili Mountain was playing really good in the early game, right? Like they were leading up to level like 15 or 16. It just felt like they weren't able to get anything off of the, advantages and the kills that they were able to gain. And maybe that is the Zagara at play. I mean, Ritsu did a really, really good job in the bot lane, just holding off pretty much all push. As we do see, he is the top damage dealer in the game. And Dino on that Falstad with the huge Wind Tunnel Gust, setting up the last couple of kills in that last team fight. And I mean, a really solid game number 2 from both teams. I'm excited to see what happens in game 3. I mean, CrowdControl is up 2-0, and that is a difficult situation to come back from, right? Mentally, being down 0-2 is always rough. And I mean, Chili Mountain, could you imagine though? Could you imagine if they made the reverse sweep? I would love it.
It's doable because we've seen what they did last week. It is doable for them to try and make this reverse sweep. And they have looked relatively strong in both games. This is the best Chili Mountain have looked. And that feels good to say, because as much as I do love having meme potential, it felt a little mean ragging on them every week, so it's nice to see them putting on these games. But there's a reason CrowdControl are currently seeded number 1, and they are looking very solid to take this into what might be a 3-0, which would feel bad, because we know Chili Mountain have grown, but the chances are it might happen at this point, because CrowdControl seem to have a very solid late game.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And that is going to be after game number 2, which means I've got a Tinkle Tetcher. I will BRB. I'll probably be back in like a couple minutes.
No worries. I will talk about statistics to my chat.
Here, I'll just pull your stream up and then my stream can watch you.
Alright.
If you would like.
That's fine. Let's do that. I don't have anything to actually bring up to display stuff. I just like to shout numbers at the void.
Yeah, do it. Shout some numbers.
Alrighty, see you in a bit, buddy. So, in these matches, let's talk about one of the key heroes so far that we have seen. That is the Muradin, a massive rise in priority for a lot of these teams who weren't playing him so much in the early season, but it's really jumped up quite a lot. CrowdControl, for example, are now 5-1 with this Muradin. Sorry, 6-1. I'm one game behind on these notes, meaning that they have a huge win rate on this hero, and it's because of the ability to just pick someone so quickly with a lot of extra burst, ability to close the distance and engage. Johanna has to walk up. Diablo has to hard engage with himself and doesn't have as effective a disengage as Muradin. Imperius, slightly lower on the hit point pools. Garrosh, of course, has to face walk up, and Anubarak is again a bit more focused on a hard engage with very little escape. Muradin is a safe tank who can survive someone like a Chromie a little bit better, so that they have the chance to turn around and keep tanking for the team. Because of course, if the tank gets removed, then you're in a little bit more trouble. The other hero who fits this is ETC. There's a little bit of focus onto him, which is why we've seen him every now and again. But again, he's a little bit lower on the hit point pool, which is where he can begin to struggle there. But he adds a lot more peeling for the team. Muradin, not the best peeler. He does have a little bit of slow, does have the stuns, of course. But he is the tank. He is the engage to pick off, to start fights with individual people so that the team can set up and blow up. And he is built to survive the enemy engage. That is why we're seeing a lot more focus onto that Muradin, and why we're already seeing Lalba with great success on it. It is, I believe, his highest win rate tank right now. I will double check that. Diablo is technically his highest win rate tank with 100% win rate, but Diablo keeps getting banned because the burst is ridiculous.
Thanks
also, thank you to
awesome
Opal for Opal Links and GhostDuck for subbing on my stream. If you're watching on my stream, make sure you check out Michael Udall and give him a follow. If you're watching at Udall's, why don't you pop over here and have a follow? I cast heroes most of the time, and sometimes I make dumb shows. Feels good. But the Muradin has been a very high priority for all those reasons, plus quite a few others. I'm not a pro. There's probably a lot I am missing, obviously, when it comes to priorities of stuff like that. So, let's talk about some of the players. With Chili Mountain having some new players, let's talk about one of their new ones. Let's talk about Gia. Gia is a very strong player. He's played for Team Sweden during the Nation Wars Cups and the EU Nexus contest repeatedly. He has played for Granite Gaming in the past, back in 2018. So already had a very great show for them. And of course, more recently, a team that some people might know him playing for, what does the photographer say, or Team Bulu, where they played in consistently strong matches, including Gold Series. After HCC ended, a couple European players went over to team up with 365 from Challenge to try and compete in Gold League, the HCC equivalent in China. They did okay, positioning in 5th in that season behind the legendary teams of the Chinese scene. They positioned behind the one Challenge, Beyond the Game, and Super Perfect team, the teams who have actually performed well in the past. So it's not too surprising to see these players performing so well, and that's why you know that they can compete with the best of the players. So feels good. They can compete with the best that the world has to offer, because almost all of those teams we've mentioned have performed on an international stage, except for Beyond the Game. Feels good. I heard what sounded like a door, which makes me believe that Udall is returning.
I'm here. I have returned. Man, wow, good ears. I didn't know my mic is that sensitive.
I was used to it.
Were you talking about Chili Mountain, like their new roster and how they used to play together? Is what it kind of sounded like?
I started talking about Muradin and why he's had such a rise in priority at the moment, and then I leaned more, and then I jumped into Chili Mountain and talked about Gia, because there's a couple players here who didn't play as many like world-class games as some others, and Gia is a great example of someone who has been on that international stage but might still be a little bit less well known on the international audience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Gia, someone that was definitely known within, I would say, like the European and Swedish scene.
Yeah.
Pretty strong, solid player. He's actually someone I was like seriously considering drafting at that 6th position. Someone that I thought had a lot of potential, and I'm happy to see him in the league. Like, he's someone that I think is a really, really good player. He also streams, guys, twitch.tv/GiaHots. If you guys want to check it out, I will link it in my channel at least. But yeah, I know he does stream, so I was just trying to shout out the players that do stream. As you know, watching pro players helps the league, guys.
It does. It really does, because they are all, especially when they're co-streaming like we are right now, it actually does add towards the metrics that they use to apply for sponsors. I know, because I've been doing that for the last couple of years. Not for CCL, but for other companies. So it really does help. Checking out literally every piece of media that comes with any tournament is what can really help them look for sponsors in the future. So that's how you can help for literally zero money, the esports scene. Just watch stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm so excited about Heroes of the Storm and just having competitive HOTS again, right? I feel like it's been so long since, it has been so long, well, at least for me. I mean, I kind of came back, because I was doing Dota for the last year. So for me, it's been nice. I mean, because Tetcher, you've been, I mean, in like the year and a half, 2 years between HGC and CCL, were you working with NGS primarily? I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about what you've been up to.
I spiraled into depression, but I was also so I didn't do as much as expected.
So true.
But I also basically cast everything that came before me. Like I did some hosting for some mobile games. I did casting for Valorant. I've cast a lot of sports in the last 2 years. Check out my Fiverr, Chris Tetcher on Fiverr, where you can literally pay me to commentate anything. It's probably one of my biggest sources of income these days. Yeah, I've
just casting random things.
Yeah,
I casted marbles for a giveaway once. It was pretty pog, actually. It was pretty hype. There's like a marble simulator.
I've done Call of Duty Mobile. I've done several Fortnites. I've done darts. Darts is a weird one. That's a weird one to commentate. It's very hard because I'm so used to like talking quickly, and darts is just like 24. Triple 20. That's all it is. It's completely different. I've done soccer, and there's a lot I've done. So
that's
I've
fun.
I did wrestling.
Have you enjoyed it? I was saying, have you enjoyed like?
Fun.
Do you feel like it's probably made you a better caster, right? Because you're forced to be in different situations. Like, do you feel like you like did casting soccer? You feel like maybe make you a better HOTS caster?
Soccer, maybe not. Because, honestly, and this is a hot take, I think soccer casting is one of the easiest you can do as long as you can remember what number goes to what name. If you can do that, it's one of the easiest ones you can do. But some of the others, wrestling especially was a good one. The Olympic events I've cast were a good one because there's a lot more to analyze there. Even though they're very quick, there's a lot you have to fit in a short period of time, which isn't always ideal for heroes casting, but it does help a lot to being able to just think about that stuff and analyze a little bit better that way.
Definitely, but we're looking like we're getting into game number 3. I mean, this is finals match. The winner of, I mean, if CrowdControl wins this, the series is going to be over. Battlefield of Eternity is going to be a selection. I mean, it looks like Chili Mountain was the team that selected this. So this may be something where they have some sort of hidden strategy in their pocket, or maybe even Chili Mountain says, you know what, let's save our strategy for playoffs. And let's, you know, because if they win this, I think they have the potential to move up into 7th seed, but also maybe hiding their strats is something they prioritize more than that. I haven't talked to their players, so not 100% sure on that, but that does sound like some sweaty stuff that pro players would do.
The potential is there, and it also helps to hide stuff when you're just consistently banning out Hogger, who will let's be honest, probably receive some nerfs at some point midway through the playoffs, because that's how Blizzard likes to plan their patches, usually directly in the middle of something esports related. We're going to see Zarya banned away. That's a smart one. That's something that CrowdControl have snuck in a couple times, so I like that as a ban.
Ooh, Stukov first picked. I mean, the really, really good hero, especially on this map. I think this is Stukov's best map because heroes like Artanis, heroes like Samro, Greymane, Raynor, Hanzo, auto attack heroes are much higher priority on this map because they generally provide a lot more race. So having that 75 armor capability on Stukov on this map, I think is definitely his strongest thing. And we do see Heavy actually playing here. So Heavy going to be playing the support. And X-Ray? Wait, whoa. Who's sitting? Heavy, Dekwaza, Lauber, Ritsu, X-Ray. So Dino's sitting?
Yeah. Wait. That's crazy. That could be schedule related, obviously, so we don't know for sure, but that explains a lot why we're seeing that Zarya banned out, because showing X-Ray on something that isn't a support really raises the priority of that Zarya, due to the fact that X-Ray, his biggest team before he joined CCL, was Feel the Heat. Guess where they got that name? So we do see Imperius coming in with Greymane. The burst potential from CrowdControl just went through the roof.
Yeah, definitely. Very much. I mean, both teams have a lot of bursts. Imperious, Greymane, Stukov, Varian, generally known for one-shot blow-up. I would expect to see Crowd Control maybe get rid of Li-Ming, as Li-Ming plus Taunt Varian is a very scary duo. Maybe they have something else that they're afraid of, but I think that hero, like, I mean, because if they get like a Li-Ming plus an Ana, that sounds like a terrifying composition for the side of Chili Mountain.
Very true. But yeah, I'm as excited as you are. This is Heavy's first game for Crowd Control. They have yet to play him. Heavy is a very experienced player, though, playing in NGS in the Storm Division, aka their top level of play, with VGM finishing in fourth place, losing to Team Alexander, the full Korean roster that entered into there. But he's a very strong player, so it's cool to see him jumping in.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting that X-Ray is still in as well. I mean, X-Ray is their drafter, their shot caller. Brightwing and Rexar are going to be the pickups for the side of Chili Mountain. So this looks like a blow-up composition, right? They're going to be going for Rexar stun into Taunt, into Poly, a lot of CC, and they're just going to look to blow up one target. Expect to see Crowd Control maybe take away that Li-Ming, but also they have two support players. So maybe they opt into some sort of double support here.
Hey, you called it.
There it is. There it is. Lucio, Stukov. I mean, they're going to kind of run them down. I mean, it's a pretty... Like, Lucio and Stukov is a pretty good duo. Both of them are pretty aggressive supports, right? So both of them provide damage. You also have Greymane for race. I'll be interested to see how this game plays out. I mean, the big thing for Crowd Control is they don't have very much wave clear. They have a Muradin, an Imperious, a Lucio. None of those heroes have wave clear, and it's just your Greymane and Stukov. So I think a lot of this game is going to come down to how well does their Greymane macro. What?
I mean, if your opponents are going to play a composition that is 100% reliant on killing you, why not pick the Split Pusher? I'm super behind this. This is so good. It gives them so much disengage potential if they go for more, but if not, they can still just control the map. They could double push lanes while still controlling the objective with this. I think that's a smart pickup to finish.
Is Zagara just OP and I didn't get the memo, Tetcher?
In certain situations, I think maybe she might be in a situation where, against these kind of compositions, if your opponent wants to fight, she has a disengage with the Maw, and she has the ability to just push forever. So having that flexibility on the hero makes it pretty good against these hyper-aggressive style of comps.
I'm just a little bit afraid she might get ran down by the Muradin
Oh yeah,
and the
that's
Lucio.
definitely an issue.
Yeah, was Li-Ming, because Li-Ming wasn't banned, right?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like Li-Ming there would have been a very good pick as well, right? Like, it's follow-up, like really good follow-up damage. I mean, I guess they did just lose to the Zagara. Maybe I'm just a Zagara hater. You know what? I am a Zerg player in StarCraft, so maybe I should get on board. Make, speaking of Zagara, on the left, in the blue, we've got Make playing the Zagara, Dark Chimera on that Brightwing, Berghold on the Varian, Gia playing the Hanzo, and Darkmok is going to be playing that Rexar.
Let's get it going. On the right-hand side is going to be CrowdControl, Rutsa on the Lucio, Dequaza on the Greymane. We're going to be having Lauba on that Muradin. Heavy is going to be on the Stukov. Very excited here. And that's Dequaza on the Imperious.
It's actually X-Ray on the Imperious, as Dequaza is playing the Greymane.
You're right.
Which is interesting to me, because Dequaza is their offlane player. So it looks like with the heavy sub-in, they really are just swapping up a lot of the roles. I mean, normally Dino would be their Greymane player in this situation. So maybe this is part of their role swap.
X-Ray is very flexible and also completely memed the CCL sign-up sheet by signing up as a tank. So there's potentially some reference to that going on. The fact that he is so flexible. So I do like that they are doing that. Makes a lot of sense. We do see right now making the most of that Lucio manaless healing, just keeping everyone as topped up as possible. Valorous Brand, by the way, he is going all in for the chunk on X-Ray here.
Yeah, looks like he's going for the one shot. I think primarily the European players prefer that level 1, and I think a lot of the North American players prefer the Q reset. So that's a bit of like the cross region coming into play there. Double support here down. I mean, you have Lucio and Stukov, so a lot of sustain, but Make already starting to get a creep, highway going on the bot side, as they don't really have the best clear for it. You don't really want to use Stukov's spell. I guess Mura is the best with his clap. But it looks like Crowd Control is going to be starting up the bottom camp, looking to abuse the level 4 Varian.
There comes the big dive by Rutsa, diving with the kickoff into the backline for the slow, tries to knock him in. Not enough to set up a kill, but the health bars are low enough that they forced to disengage out of Chili Mountain. CrowdControl will reclaim mid lane. Reclaim bot lane, sorry, mid lane. So they've tried to pressure Bergot a little bit more. Darmok starts the camp. Rexel can do this, but it's a little slow.
Yeah, Anzo, Gia is going to be rotating up to help, but during all of this, Berghold on the variant is going to get dove and die. Right wing on the top side going to get speared by Imperius as well. X-Ray doing a lot of damage here. X-Ray may potentially look to get on the point. Okay, no, he is just going to back off as they are going to be able to cap it. So Siege Camp on the top going to the side of Chili Mountain. Siege Camp on the bottom going to the side of CrowdControl. X-Ray looking for a potential pick here, though, as level 4 has been achieved for his team.
Degwaza eats the bear, no concerns, just easily just walks onto it, hits it 3 times and it dies because Grey main. Zagara has been left bot lane to clear the mercenary camp because of course she's one of the best at this. So being able to clean that up, very effective. Another Envenom Spike launch for the Zagara, just going for that little bit of extra range and burst damage for the team. She is going to be ganked, but I don't think there's enough damage to finish the job yet.
Yeah, they do first have the Bribing Z, which is pretty big though, as that is a global that they most likely wanted for the objective spawn. And speaking of that, 10 seconds until the objective is going to be up. Gia is really low here, does need a full reset, maybe a bit of a mistiming as his team will be forced to take a 4v3 if CrowdControl forces the issue.
Let's dive by Bergold, stun onto taunt onto Lauber. Rutzau is in position though, keeping everyone topped up, making sure they have control over this bottom vent. Meantime, Imperius is just trying to set up that Fallen Shaman camp because no one is de-pushing this. Bergold looking for another taunt opportunity, but Rutzau is deep. That lurking up saves Rutzau from being taunted as they get the kill onto Hanzo. Looking for Bergold to make it too. He has no mobility for he is Varian, and he is going to be taken out.
Yeah, and that's 2 heroes falling for the side of Chili Mountain. This first Immortal is going to go the way of CrowdControl. It looks like they're actually going to be clearing up bottom. Greymane and Stukov should be able to finish up the Immortal before Varian is able to get there, as he's still dead for another 2 seconds and would have to run all the way across the map. So this is going to be the first Immortal going the way of CrowdControl. Chili Mountain looking to do as much damage into it as they can before, and they're actually doing a pretty decent amount, able to bring the Immortal shield down to about, 60%. So they got about 40% damage, which definitely is going to help slow the push of CrowdControl here.
Not bad at all, better than expected. They looked like they were very far behind, but they put all their pressure onto that. Makes a lot of sense. Wizened Duelist, Skullcracker. Skullcracker actually very sensible. A little bit of extra burst onto the Immortal. Technically will proc on that. And we have Crossfade for the Lucio. So going for a little extra damage or slow. We're going to try to set up and join the team with burst.
Yeah, Berghold is going to get a taunt here onto Lauber. Stukov's silence is going to be down for another about 10 seconds. That is a pretty big cooldown. Level 7 has been achieved for the side of CrowdControl, not achieved for the side of Chili Mountain. Would expect to see CrowdControl. Lauber going for the jump stun here is barely going to miss it. And it looks like they are just trying to pressure the Immortal here. Good focus onto the Hydra. Dayquaza throwing some damage down onto Berghold. And the fort is going to be saved, right? So that's part of the power of Zagara. Really good D-push. Lucio actually going to get taunted here. The Bribing follow-up as well. But Make during all of this taking a lot of damage as well. Berghold getting chunked out by Dayquaza, and it looks like both teams are just going to back off.
Rutzau getting hard engaged on, but popping off, turns round, able to survive. He's doing a fantastic job so far on this Lucio, keeping pressure on an interrupt rotation. Actually, weirdly enough, in most cases, being the engage for his team by being the one to jump in and knock everyone into Muradin. Lauber does get polymorph, so they're not going to go in for any hyper-aggressive play. As again, we find Chili Mountain on the back foot defending, but bot lane is about to take some damage if they can grab that camp.
Yeah, definitely Zagara is going to be taking it out. I mean, this top fort may potentially fall, though, as it is the 3v4. Lauber could potentially look for a jump stun, but he's just going to back out. The siege camp is going to be able to take out the well here. Gia doing a good job laying damage down into these siege giants. Is 1 stack off and is going to be able to complete it now. Looks like both teams are just kind of posturing here. Dayquaza actually just farming his level 7 stacks here, hitting Berghold, and he's already up to 6, almost up to 7.
Not bad at all. In the meantime, though, in bot lane, oh, hang on, taunt onto Dayquaza here, but able to stay alive for the moment. They'll just back away. In the meantime, X-Ray trying to defend that bot lane. Maka trying to stack his Bile Drop. So far, 0 stacks have been gained for that, as Rutzau gonna be focused down, just escapes. Going to be Zagara who falls instead. X-Ray able to get the chase and the counter kill. Dayquaza, a fantastic roam. They're able to get the double kill. A little bit of an overstay on that push by Chili Mountain.
Ritsu with the baits on the Lucio, going down to like almost 100 HP and able to just bait them on in. And that's going to be level of 10 achieved for the side of crowd control. And we see Dayquaza just going straight to the race. Go for the throat, avatar, sound barrier, angelic armaments, and shove are going to be the selections for the side of crowd control. Go for the throat is the big one for me, as it looks like Dayquaza is going to be looking to one-shot those backliners, as he's already at 8 stacks. Oh.
Yeah, there's not that many extra tanky members on the side for Chili Mountain here, so that go for the throw gives him a much better chance of resets here, and also he's the hyper carry, having that second kill potential might be good as Soundbarrier comes out to save X-Ray. They have to turn around. The Bailing's doing some decent damage, but there's so much crowd control onto X-Ray, he can't really turn around and re-engage yet. Same with Lauber. They're actually being out-CC'd. The irony is real.
I love it. I'm sorry. The puns always get me. And it looks like crowd control is going to be going over, taking out their own bruiser camp, looking to get this extra pressure during the immortal phase. Berghold just looking to scout around. But during all of this, Chili Mountain doing a pretty good job. Gia just getting a decent amount of damage into the immortal, about 30% of the shield. Ritsu trying to see if he can get him, seeing if he can interrupt the D. Not going to be able to. Dayquaza is going to get taunted here, though, taking a lot of damage. The Stukov silence, though, and just like that, both backliners are dead for the side of Chili Mountain, but Greymane is dead for the side of crowd control. They don't have that much damage left, but a big spear coming out by X-Ray. I spoke too soon. Berghold is going to be healed up by Brightwing, but is it going to be enough? Lauber jumping in, looking to do damage, barely going to miss the Stormbolt, and X-Ray again. But the Misha stun is not going to be enough, and Misha is maybe going to die as well. Yes, so that's going to be Hanzo and Zagara are actually back up here, but a really good team fight coming out for the side of crowd control, but they don't have very much race off of it, so I don't know if they're going to be able to finish up the Immortal.
It's exactly what we're talking about, though, in terms of build. That level 1 on Imperius. Greymane is currently the only actual quote-unquote damage dealer from the side of crowd control, but you will oftentimes see Imperius in that top amount, and that's why we've gone for this build. You've got to have some other kill potential, because you cannot rely on the fact that Greymane will survive every fight. In this case, it's damage build Muradin with Stormbolt stacks and Skullcracker, and it's percentage damage Imperius. These are their backup strategies for if Dayquaza pops.
Yep, and it seemed to work in the last team fight. I mean, Imperius, a hero that can pretty much one-shot someone if he hits the full combo. Lauber, though, falling really low here, taking a decent amount of damage, forced to use the Avatar. But during all of this, the Immortal is getting a lot of value, so Lauber is forced to use his ult, but the Immortal doesn't take any damage while they're getting the front wall, which means this is going to be a fort going the side. Oh, X-Ray on the bot side. Look at X-Ray on the Imperius, flanking around the bushes, looking for a potential spear here. Is he going to be able to get Berghold? Yes, he is. But are they going to be able to get anything off of it? No. Oh, he's actually taking a lot of damage here. Ma, as well as Sound Barrier comes out. Angelic Armaments, but so much shield. Misha is going to die. And oh, Tetcher here, they're fighting. They're going back and forth.
If that Maw had landed, that could have been a huge turnaround for Chili Mountain, but they could not get anyone into position. The turnaround to X-Ray was good, but it was used as bait by crowd control, but it was avoided beautifully by Chili Mountain. Both teams playing 5D chess here, but so much damage done to Marker. The protection from Brightwing with the spell armor is huge. Here comes the taunt to try and finish off someone, but they can't do it. The reactor ballista pause shuts down any further chase as Rutzau is forced to retreat, but that's a 3-man spear. That might be what they need. Again, they're escaping. Finally, Virulent Reaction lands, and we see Rexar picked off.
And Berghold's going to be chased down as well. Albert taking a lot of damage, doesn't have Avatar for another 15 seconds, but is going to be all right. X-Ray zoning them off, and this looks like it is going to be the keep falling down. But Heavy with a couple of huge Stukov silence in that team fight. Definitely a solid first showing for Heavy in CCL.
Yeah, that Virulent Reaction was money. One of the only reasons that kill came in, but it worked out beautifully. So we do see crowd control. First keep of the game acquired. They make their way down to bot lane. Will start grabbing themselves even more map pressure. Keep that lane pushed up. Keep value coming. Imperius running all the way back to the fountain to top up his mana. And as such, we will see Zagara. That's the creep talent on level 13. I have no idea what that does. No one ever picks that.
I think it's 20 armor, or it's some sort of armor when you're on creep, I believe.
It is. Just found it. Is
it 20 or how much?
It is 20. It is 20 armor on creep.
Hey!
Nailed it in one. Beautiful.
I haven't played that hero in so long, though. I think Zagara's not that good. I'm saying it. But, I mean, it's a rough game for the Zagara. Mura and Lucio kind of just diving Make a lot of the times. He does look to go in. Berghold looking to hold the bush here. Level 16 has not been achieved yet for the side of CrowdControl, but they don't really care as they are just posturing aggressively as they have been winning most of these team fights so far.
Taunt again. One more try to kill off X-Ray. Here comes Misha. Good stun. The damage output. Where it be, though? Where's the kill potential onto X-Ray? They just don't have it.
Yeah, as he is just going to be able to walk away. I mean, he is forced to use his ult, but they use Hanzo Arrow there as well. Heavy looking for a potential route here. Not going to be able to get it. Lauber pressuring Dequaza. Going to walk over and just do full race here. As CrowdControl is just going to look to hit to 16. And then once they, you know, they'll just trade this, maybe look to soak some waves, maybe look to take out their camp. Once they hit 16, I'd expect to see him force the issue.
Brightwing currently doing the D push, making the most of that global grabbing experience for Chili Mountain, trying to keep them in it with that 16 just around the corner. They've got to soak it. That is saucy. They were looking to see if that camp was being taken to take one fight pre-16. Instead, it's all about defense. While CrowdControl, they're more than happy to wait for that 16 to be achieved, and there it is.
And it looks like Lauber does have level 16 jump now. Misha is going to fall here. Good job coming out by Lauber. Ritsu with the push in. Make not going to be able to get them off. Is going to get blown up. Go for the throat. Still off cooldown. Berghold falling low. Dequaza looking for more potentially. Is just going to go for the throat. Gia. Ritsu barely unable, not to be able to get the D. Darkmok falling low here. Are they going to be able to get the body blocks? No, they're not. And Dark Dequaza is just going to be back off. Heavy during all of this is like team. I'm hitting the objective.
The objective?
Any objective gamers, as the rest of his team is going to be going for the Knights, and he's getting spam pinged by his team. Heavy, the people's champ, trying his best on the Immortal. He's like, hello?
He's gonna get it. The Immortal will be achieved. I'm going to choose to believe that that's because he's currently BMing Heavy, as we see multiple stuns from the members of CrowdControl. They're going to be able to achieve a very, very healthy Immortal, which will now begin to push into top lane. One chance from Berghold, who is deep. Marco's just going to be absolutely deleted. Here comes the one save attempt from Chimera. That's a good Maw. This is their one chance to make something happen. They don't have Arrow, but they do have Fadelings, but they no longer have Sagara. Goodbye.
Oh, and wow, that's two heroes dead. I mean, this looks like a GG. Berghold is going to try and get Heavy. Not going to be able to do it, though. But that's three heroes that are going to be dead for the side of Chili Mountain. And this is a pretty healthy Immortal. I'd expect this to be GG for the side of CC. Oh, Lauber jumping in, going really aggressive here. X-Ray as well. Going to be going over the wall. Lauber and X-Ray both zoning so aggressively. But that's what you love to see. Oh, Darkmok taking a lot of damage. Dequaza able to get the go for the throw, going for Gia as well. He's going to be able to get him, and yes, he is. That's two heroes fallen. Zagara and Brightwing are about to be up, but I don't know if they're going to be enough to actually save this game for the side of Chili Mountain.
Yeah, Chili Mountain looking one last chance at the defense, but their odds and their options are looking scarce. Marker retreating to the non-existent keep. Fountain, that'll save him. Quick, drop some creep, get some armor. Marker's going to be absolutely deleted here. Immortal's already pushing core, and that is going to be game number 3 and the series going over to CrowdControl, which also completely solidifies their position in first going into the playoffs.
Yeah, really well played by CrowdControl. I mean, pretty much the whole season. They've had really solid games, and they show here why they're the #1 seed going into playoffs. Definitely a scary team. Whoever does go through the bracket finals is going to have to face the Goliath that is CrowdControl. I mean, that would be a pretty fun, 30K versus CrowdControl. I mean, I want to get 3rd seed, don't get me wrong, but that'd be a pretty fun quarterfinal.
I mean, it would just be hype in general. You're not fishing for finals there? You're not fishing for that?
I mean, I'm fishing for finals, but I feel like it'd be a pretty hype quarterfinal, right? Like a good entry for 30K to get that easy 3-0, and then going into the finals, it'd be Pog.
I mean, the perfect wraparound, the perfect full circle for CCL would be a 30K CrowdControl finals, because of course the pre-CCL icebreaker tournament resulted in a 3-2 grand finals victory for CrowdControl over 30K. So that would be a pretty good wraparound.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, a lot of that comes down to this next series. We have Simplicity versus Oxygen. If Simplicity is able to actually secure that dub, then that means 30K will have the chance, if they win tomorrow versus Granite Gaming, to actually be the 3rd seed going into playoffs.
Yeah, the chance is there. There is potential. And I'm pretty sure we can guess what my lovely co-caster here is voting for.
I want Oxygen to lose.
But Steve's so nice.
Yeah, that's true. I do like Steve, and I like Modern. I like their whole team, you know.
Hell
but
yeah.
it's not personal. There's nothing personal about it. I want them to lose so that my team can potentially have a better chance at playoffs. It's nothing personal. It's just the way it is.
That is fair.
Wow.
I understand. The slight
I just
bias
refreshed
is there for a reason.
standings, and it's already showing 6-1 for CrowdControl. That's like a really fast update. Like,
oh yeah. Where are you refreshing them, Wikipedia?
no, like right, literally on the CCL page. So heroeshearth.com/CCL standings.
I use Wikipedia. Easier for me. They update pretty quickly. That's already done.
Oh, that's very impressive. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a decent break, right? It's gonna be like what, like 15 minutes or
plenty of time.
Okay. So what do you normally do during the break, Tetcher?
I usually make a snack. I usually just put it on my break screen, which, speaking of which, I need to update. Thank you for reminding me of that. I usually put it on my break screen. If there's an interview on the main stream, I jump over to that so that people on my stream don't miss out on that content. And then if there isn't an interview, then I just put it on my break screen and then just chill until the main stream comes back.
Okay.
That's my usual strat, but I can change it this time because I've got a friend.
No. I was gonna say that's good for me. I mean, I normally like AFK during the break as well. I normally go make some food, so we both can chill out, and then we could just meet a couple minutes before the break and then do the cast for the second series.
That sounds like a plan to me.
Pog, looking forward to it, Tetcher.
Alrighty, see you in a bit. I'm going to mute to thank some subs, and I will see you after the break.
Same later.
See you in a bit. So, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying the cast so far. I've been really enjoying casting with Udall. It's been a really good time. A big thank you to everyone who has subbed. Sorry I didn't do it during the thing, but we had Ghost Doug. Let's go! Thank you very much. Gub and a Cullum. I've butchered that name almost certainly, but thank you very much. Opal XVI, which I'm sure is a number, but I can't do it because I can't do Roman numerals. Links, thank you for a sub. Thanks for being awesome at Tetcher. Thank you very, very much. Golio, how's it going in the chat as well? Follows from Kiskapek, Lewis Kenny 7. That'll do. Sub from Jack of Clubs, and then Janetja gifting out 5 subs to the community. Thank you so much, Janetja. We are at 103 subs. So we are nearly at my 150 goal before Christmas, but we only have 6 days left for that. So the odds of that are a little low, but the chance is there. And big congratulations to Crescent Method. How's it going, buddy? See you in Jinxie stream quite a lot. Myrmidon Hots. 1 Power Slide, man. Still love that name. Counts TM. And Bala Bob. Thank you all very much, and congratulations on your subs. Feels good. So, everybody, thank you all so much for watching, and let me just quickly check to see if there is an interview on the main stream for you. There is, so I'm going to jump you over to that, and when we come back, I will be continuing my casts with Udall. See you all in but a moment. Back in a bit.
Like a lot of fun on Battlefield of Eternity. Would you say that you guys had some fun?
I think fun was had by like some players in this lobby, but not all of them. I don't know.
Your team.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the Immortal phase. You all win this big team fight, and you're just sitting there smacking the Immortal for 490 damage, and there's like a bunch of pings that come to you. Was that you trying to ask for help, or was that your team saying, Heavy, why are you hitting the Immortal? We need to go end game.
I was sick of it. I was doing all the dirty work. And then they all came over and they said they were going to stand next to me and dance. And
They were
I just stopped racing.
Dreadman legit just got stunned, and I think Lauber just started showcasing their not their medallion, but they showcased their level on Muradin. So it was just curious. We were joking about it as we were watching the pings happen to you. So curious to what happened in those comms. But congratulations on your victory, Heavy. This was really, really cool and exciting to see you jump into a match for HeroesCCL.
Yeah, it was a real hoot, as some might say. Enjoyed myself. I'm really grateful they put me in. But,
cool. Any last shout outs before we let you go?
Heroes Hearth for putting this all on. My team, of course. Yeah, I mean, they're all fantastic people. I'm super grateful for having met them. Everyone in our org who is doing all the work getting like merch or setting up scrims for us and things like that have all been really helpful. And Turk and Leon for, heading the org.
All right, awesome. And Fun's his mom, of course. We can't forget that.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
players forget that they rhyme. Yeah. So I got you covered. Don't worry. I know it's your first interview. First of many, I'm sure. But thanks for stopping by. Congrats again on the win. Enjoy the holiday break and good luck in the playoffs.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.
You too. All right, there you go. That was Heavy from Team CrowdControl off of his first win.